Okay, so our first bit that we're starting with is from more than a week ago. This is about 10 days ago, I want to say. Actually, the date's right there. 10 days ago. So a week and a half ago, MiHoYo, who makes Genshin Impact, among other things, is rebranding, but not in China. They're rebranding internationally. So I don't know. I think I have an idea of why they're doing that, but they're rebranding internationally to Hoyoverse. And there's a piece of this I want to highlight, and it's at the very end. The newly minted Hoyoverse added that it will expand tech research, content creation, and game publishing at its studios around the world. This is all with the aim to develop an MCU-style universe for the Genshin Impact franchise and suggests some pretty enormous ambitions for the recently enriched company. Okay? In addition, they're quoted as saying, "We will continue to focus on long-term operation strategies, consistent technical research, and innovation in a variety of fields, including AI, cloud computing, and pipeline construction, to ensure that sufficient content is created to meet the expectation of players worldwide for a virtual world experience." Okay. Basically, they're expanding because they have Genshin Impact money now. It's like Fortnite money. You get Fortnite coming in, you can now do all this stuff. You're like, oh my god, we can do all these things now because we have Fortnite money. Okay, so those were the main components that I think were worth highlighting. But Spoon, you obviously haven't played Genshin in a while. We've talked about you haven't played in a while. But this game makes Monopoly money. There was actually a graph that I wish I had still showing all the banners that made, and their revenue per banner.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh, I saw it a while ago. So if there was a newer, there's probably a newer one. But I saw that. There was a
newer one, and Raiden Shogun, just as an example, was the top one.
Yeah.
By itself, that banner was $25 million by itself. That banner alone generated that much. So these banner, and the lowest banner was Kokomi. Kokomi was 4,900,000 from what I remembered. She was the lowest banner
because she was trash.
But
that's still a lot for a trash banner,
right? That's still a ton. In 2 weeks, making $5 million is certainly nothing to gloss over. So Spoon, again, you haven't played Genshin Impact in a while. Any of the stuff that I mentioned there with the MCU universe /
I mean, I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I really don't.
Does that mean more games in the Genshin Impact universe? Does that mean are they gonna do anime, movies? I don't know what that means. It's just really vague.
I think anime would make sense. An anime would make a ton of sense. I don't know why they haven't even announced that they're doing something in that area yet, because they should be. There's no reason why they shouldn't be doing an anime tomorrow, or at least talking to somebody about it. Mm-hmm. That just kind of makes sense. I don't know what MCU style universe means though. For that, the MCU is a compilation of movies, specifically as a universe to say okay, all these movies are connected. Does that mean that Genshin Impact and all the other ones they have, which is Honkai Impact as one, does that mean they're all going to be connected now? Is that what they're trying to say?
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know.
Because I think they are. I think some characters in Honkai Impact are in Genshin Impact, so there is a connection already. But I'm with you. I'm not sure I fully understand what that means in this context.
It's not that I don't fully understand what it means. I don't really understand what it means at all.
Okay.
It could. My point is, it could mean a lot of different things.
Right.
It's just really. It's kind of vague.
It is
MCU style universe. Okay, I don't know what that means.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. I'm kind of I don't know what it means in this context. Okay, he's just gonna make a bunch of Genshin Impact games, but they're not gonna do that. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, why would they spend money making other games when Genshin Impact itself just makes all the
It's
money?
just like, yeah, Genshin Impact makes you billions of dollars. Like, why would you do anything but that? It's just crazy. Oh, that graph I was talking to about before, that money, 25 million, that was only for China. That was only China revenue.
Yeah.
So that means it's probably like, you could probably assume it's much more than 25 million.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. MiHoYo they have Fortnite money. So this is what happens. You start expanding in a ton of other places because you have so much money. And you just like, okay, how do we spend it to make more Monopoly money? You know?
I mean, yeah, like Riot kind of like did that too, when League of Legends exploded, right? And,
Yeah.
I guess they're doing slightly different because they're actually making other kinds of games as well with the League of Legends license.
Right.
But,
which makes sense. Like, MiHoYo could do that. Or I guess Hoyoverse.
could do that.
They could do that. They could just make other games like of a different genre. Which would make sense. Also something that but even then it's like, I guess that's an MCU style game because like that game could have a different kind of connection than a Genshin Impact, so your players would want to play that one too. Maybe that's what they mean. I don't know.
Yeah, and that might be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Also, I guess I'll mention, since we're talking about Genshin, I didn't see too much of what it is, but apparently the Genshin Impact community is incredibly toxic.
Oh, really? In what way?
I saw some things on. There was some drama, I don't remember, last week or a couple, like recently, within the last couple of weeks, I want to say, where I think some like voice actors were just like getting flamed on Twitter for no reason, because like the voice actor for Kokomi was just getting flamed because she played Kokomi and no one likes Kokomi.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it's my response to that is, yeah, people are weird and they do bad stuff when they shouldn't, and they're illogical. And I mean, I hate to say it this way because I don't necessarily know if I like this, like the insult of go touch grass, but maybe go touch grass. Like go do something else.
Go take a breath of fresh air.
Go do something else. Your entire world does not evolve around Genshin Impact, actually. Like there's a lot of other things that you could be investing in besides Genshin Impact.
Yeah, and
like,
just because you don't like a character doesn't mean you need to harass people associated with that character.
Right. Honestly, like, this is gonna sound crazy, but my first response is like, if you're doing that kind of stuff, just do anything else. Just literally anything else. Go to Pornhub. I don't know. Yeah. Go do something else.
Yeah. Do literally anything.
Do literally anything else. Like, just tug it. I don't know. Do anything else. I just don't see.
Take a break from Genshin and take a break from social media. Just like chill out for a bit.
You don't flame the voice actor. The voice actor has no control over the ability of the character. They don't even control the character's story. I know that's crazy, but people just want somebody to blame, and they're like, okay, well, this is an easy target because they have a social media presence. But even that's just like, okay, but that doesn't solve anything. That doesn't even help solve like your gripes with the character. Maybe actually tell the company that. But I mean, people are weird.
I'm sure they do that too, but
I mean,
I don't know.
But the thing is, like, plenty of communities are toxic, particularly big ones, because you're so big. Even a subset of that community is pretty large.
It could be just a very, very vocal minority, but since it's a huge community, the minority is kind of big.
Right.
So
it's like League. Like, even a subset of League that's toxic, we say it's like, okay, yeah, it's only like 5%, but like 5% of that community is massive.
Yep.
As opposed to 5% of the King of Dragons community, which is like me. Like, if I'm toxic shit, that's all of us, but I don't think I'm toxic. Yep. So, subset, I'm sure like the Genshin Impact toxic group, that subset of the whole group, is like, they're so weird. It's so weird. Mm-hmm. They do this like with Kokomi, and I'm sure I think there were other voice actors that got flamed too, like the Barbara one. I think got flamed because MiHoYo changed the voice in game. And, like, I don't like the new voice lines that Barbara has, but I'm not gonna go flame the voice actress. It's like the voice actors had previous lines in the game. MiHoYo decided to change them. It's not her fault. They just changed them. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Any other Genshin stuff? Spoon.
No more Genshin stuff, but I do want to mention before
Mhm.
we move on to the next topic. We probably should have done this at the top.
Oh,
But
sure.
I forgot to mention it. I guess I just want to say, solidarity, hopes, and prayers to the people in Ukraine right now, because that is a terrible situation, and
It is.
Yeah. Just, I don't know.
The whole situation is, it happened. I won't say it happened fast, because if you actually do dive into the context, I guess the history of this, the context of this, this sort of tension has been there for more than a handful of years. I believe 8 years, 2014. So
yeah, no, and like
Putin,
like, or Russia's like sort of feigned this a number of, like, I feel like a couple 2-3 times in the past where they're kind of like, oh, maybe something will happen, and then he backed off.
And then they backed off because, like,
he didn't back off this time.
No, he did not. This time he didn't back off. And no, I'm with you. I would encourage anybody to read up on it, actually, and then on top of that, just recognize that there are serious implications for this. And there's a lot of different things that can happen, and there's a reason why the EU, the reason why Biden did a press conference today about it, the reason why we're doing that, and it's because there's a lot of serious implications for this.
Yeah, it's like you can't really let Russia just like invade a sovereign nation, but at the same time, you don't really want to risk a hot war with Russia. That's
exactly.
Bad idea.
There's a lot. There's a lot to this. There's a lot to this. First thing I would tell somebody to do is just like, okay, go find like an article from any news outlet that did like a comprehensive breakdown of like, okay, how did this sort of get started? Where are we now? Like, do that first before really saying anything, because that's pretty much what I did. I was like, okay, what the heck is going on? And I found an article, I don't remember from where, and just read the breakdown of it. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, if Putin backs down, he's going to look weak, and he doesn't want to look weak, so he's not going to back down. So that's the unfortunate state of where we're at, is Russia's just invading a neighboring country. Really, the only response we are going to do is just sanctions. But that will have I think a pretty heavy, which is already happening, a financial impact on Russia. This is going to be a big financial impact on Russia.
Yeah, some people are thinking they maybe have like a under the table deal with China, that China's going to like help them out if they get hit with a ton of sanctions. Well, they're already getting hit with a ton of sanctions.
They're getting hit with a lot of different things from a lot of the from the US, obviously, but from
all the UN,
NATO.
all the UN and NATO countries basically are like, yeah, this isn't okay. Like, you can't do this.
You can't do this. You can't do this, particularly in today's age. And the immediate follow-up that he had was, okay, if I feel like anybody's threatening me, I'm just gonna throw nukes around. It's like, really? Come on. You can't. You're not doing that. So there's a lot. There's a lot that's gonna happen from this. Yeah, we definitely should have mentioned it beforehand, but I mean, we'll mention it. You know, it's worth mentioning now. And my response is, if you don't know what's going on, go find an article first. Don't just immediately go to Twitter and say something stupid. That's what I would say.
Yep.
Okay. Let's continue.
Yeah.
This is Horizon Forbidden West reviews. We're not at Elden Ring yet, okay? So this is Horizon Forbidden West. Got great reviews. First comment is just paid reviews, okay. But good reviews. I don't know what the score is on OpenCritic, but I imagine it's like a 93 from what I remember. Maybe it's like a 92.
It's like 89.
Okay.
I'll look right now.
Quick check that. But it's something really high. It's great. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn was great. So good to see, you know, more good single player games. And yeah, I haven't played the first iteration, but heard good things. So I can't imagine this.
It's 88.
Yeah, 88. Still great. Still great. Spoon, did you? I actually don't know. Did you play Horizon Zero Dawn?
I haven't played it. No.
Okay, but I mean, both games are good. Both games are good. Probably you could say great. So that was last week. This game came out a week and a half ago. About a week and a half ago, right? But anything you wanted to add?
I mean, not really. It's just, you know, sort of Sony's first party studios continue their streak of phenomenal releases. Basically, it's like I feel like they almost never have metas under like 85. To be honest, a lot of them are near 90 or above 90. Sony just cranks out the bangers.
Hold on a second. I'm hearing the director of Days Gone coming in. He's still salty about not getting a second one in his 7.0 reviews. That. Yep, I'm hearing it. But I mean, one is like, okay, whatever. I mean, but still, I had to come in with Days Gone. That guy is still upset about that.
Oh yeah.
But Sony cranks out a lot of great ones, particularly the first party studio games. Yeah.
Meta is actually 72 on Days Gone.
Yeah, because it's not that good. It's not an interesting game. I don't know what it is with people going crazy defending it. It's like they basically took the concept of Last of Us, but just made it less interesting. Like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing special about this. That's what I don't get. I'm just like, okay, well, this is like a boring version of Last of Us. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, Horizon's good. I think it's on it's on PS4 and PS5, but PlayStation exclusive for now. It'll probably come to PC eventually, but who knows when.
Probably like 6 months to a year. I would say a year. They're gonna try and milk the sales.
The first Horizon took like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, but I don't think it'll be that long anymore. I think it'll be maybe a year or so.
I would
PC port.
I agree. I think a year.
Sony seems to be laxing on their exclusivity thing. They'll make it exclusive for a little while and then they'll port it.
Yeah, of course, because I mean, it does make sense for them to make it exclusive for like a year though. They want to get their money's worth on their system first, and then they're like, okay, now that we've gotten that, let's move it to another system, get more sales from that one. So okay. Nintendo 3DS and Wii U eShops will be discontinued in 2023. I'm actually going to turn it to you first, Spoon. How do you feel about this?
I think it's maybe it's a little early. That seems like Wii U maybe makes sense. I don't think anyone's playing the freaking Wii U anymore. 3DS, you probably still have some people there, and I heard some complaints about, like Pokemon Bank, for example. It's like, well, what about that? But yeah, I mean, this is something that companies do. It's like when their products, or services are out of date, eventually they're just going to shut down the online servers and the services because, they're not putting anything new on them anymore, and
right.
Not enough people are using them. And it's like, well, get what you can get now. If there's anything on those platforms that you still want to download, then get them now because they're going to go away. But it's not like, there isn't infinite server space out there. Eventually these companies have to shut shit down, right? Like
if they don't want to spend the money. It's okay. Here's my thing with this is, and I don't know if this is currently out there, but like, for example, I think that Sony was talking about closing down one of their shops, and then they backed off on that. Which one was it? Were they like talking about closing down the PS3?
It's probably PS3.
And then I think they backed off of that. But like this PS3 system's been out for a really long time.
Yeah, PS3 came out in like 2006 or something like that. Thing's like 16 years old.
Yeah, and they were
maybe it's 2005 or 2006, one of those two. It's
right.
Yeah, it's over 15 years old.
And they said they were going to close the shop, and I think they backed off from that. I'm not sure. I think I'd have to double check, but they said that too, and people were really upset. Because I think one of the things that's frustrating about this is when you buy physical, this isn't really an issue. But when you buy digital, like for example, Disney's Fantasia. Did you know that if you bought Disney's Fantasia and you uninstalled it from your system, there's just like no way to get it back?
Yeah. You told me that. You told me that before.
Yeah. So this is what people are upset about more than anything. Like obviously the shop being down, you can't purchase any more games like digitally on the shop. That's one thing. But it's the fact that if you purchase games on those shops and you uninstall them and then the shop goes away, you have lost your license to get that game.
Yeah, can't download it anymore.
Correct. So this is the case against digital. That is like the main case against digital is when Nintendo decides, okay, Switch Shop has been out for 20 years. We're done with it. We're moving on. If you bought a game digitally, you can no longer get it back. That is the only case for against digital right now. That is the only major issue with digital. And I don't know what the cost is to keep these shops up for Nintendo. Obviously, they are like, okay, nobody's using them, so let's shut it down. But at the same time, like as somebody who buys digital, like, yeah, that's a huge issue. The only thing that I take some solace from is when on the Xbox stores, Disney Fantasia was one example, but that's because Disney told them they had to pull the game.
Yeah, Disney themselves took it down.
But like, I have Black Flag digitally. Okay, I can play it on Xbox One, but because of the way that system works, I can also just download it and play it on my Series S.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was gonna say. That's the fix for it. Is like when you release a new console, it's like cross-platform between all your past platforms, and you can just download it on the new platform, so you don't have to. So you can shut down the old one, and people can still have access it on the new platform. That's the fix. Or obviously with PC, you have Steam. Like they hardly ever everything's on Steam. Steam doesn't give a shit, and they just leave it up. Like
so, but Nintendo. This is the problem with Nintendo. Their gimmicks are their own worst enemy. Yeah. You can't just port a 3DS game easily to the Switch. You can't just port easily a Wii U game to the Switch without somebody actually doing the work for that. But at least with Xbox, in this example, Black Flag, even though it's been, in this case, can be installed on the Series S, that doesn't mean that it's optimized for it. So if the game is still 30 frames per second, it's 30 frames per second, sorry. But at the same time, you can still play it. So, again,
you don't lose your license.
This is the problem with Nintendo, is they're gimmicky. And the problem is because they're gimmicky, they can't just port shit. And when they port shit, it sucks because they're terrible at porting things. They don't know how to do it. Particularly with emulators. I'm sorry, with emulators, they don't know how to do it. So,
not well.
Yeah, they just can't do it well. They just suck at it. I'm sorry, they just suck at it. So
the other thing with at least the PS4 and Xbox One, and then like especially I guess the further down the console line you go, the more it's like this. But like the newer consoles are basically just like they're basically PCs with some of them. They have a disk drive and they have like their own, they're integrated with the PlayStation like operating system and their like UI and their store and everything. But like they're basically a piece. They're basically a freaking PC with like the Sony or the Microsoft integration, whichever one. Like Nintendo's, I don't think are much like that. They still kind of do their own thing. So that's one of the issues.
Yeah, and this is why, frankly, this is why Nintendo needs to change, but they won't. They need to do what PlayStation and Xbox does. They need to just make it like a PC, but they're not going to do that. They're just not going to do that. That would require them to have the forethought to go, hey, wouldn't it be nice if somebody could just hop onto the next system but still be able to play their games going backwards, even like it's not optimized for the new system, but they can at least play it. Like Black Flag is not going to be optimized for the Series S. unless Ubisoft actually goes and takes the time to do that, it's not going to be that way. So this is why I don't. There's another reason why I don't like Nintendo is when you buy digitally from Nintendo, they're gimmicky. So as soon as they shut that shop down, it's over. Your game's gone now. You're essentially renting the game long term until they decide, okay, we have this new gimmicky system that we can't just port to, and we don't feel like porting to it. So too bad. Bye. I think that PlayStation and Microsoft have been much smarter and seem to have some actual forethought and said, well, you know what? Like, what happens if players in the next age want to play the previous game and they bought it digitally? We don't just want to take it away. We want to give them some access to it. So
yeah,
somebody with a brain was actually thinking over there.
I mean, Nintendo just doesn't care. That's my thing. They just don't care about the consumers, really. They just do their thing, and
right.
If they get PR, they don't really bad PR, I should say. They don't really seem to give a shit. So
no, they don't, because they're like, well, I mean, you're gonna play our games anyway.
Yeah, when we release Breath of the Wild 2, you're all cream your pants. You're all buy it. You're all buy it anyways. So
you're gonna play it, and when we
for someone. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when we shut down this 3DS shop and we decide to do a 3DS emulator on the Switch, you're gonna buy that.
Yeah,
because you don't know any better.
You're gonna pay another $15 a month to upgrade your expansion pass to expansion pass plus or something like that.
We've come up with a new expansion pass plus gullible edition for you people who really need your 3DS games on the Switch. I don't think it's as bad for 3DS because there's not as I don't know. Maybe
we're like 3 gens away from 3DS. They still got to put GBA on there, GameCube, Wii U, DS. Like they still got like 5 gens of 5 different consoles to put on there before we get to 3DS.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to me that they don't have dedicated teams just like cranking out these emulators. Like
if they did like GBA, for example, GBA had so many freaking gems that, people love. I'm surprised they haven't done GBA yet.
Me too.
Like GBA was huge. Like
I'm shocked. Like GBA, GBA DS, like there's some great games on those systems. Like ignoring 3DS for a second, like those systems, were made for the Switch too, because they're all, that handheld system. So I just I'll never understand Nintendo for as long as I live.
Yeah, I won't either. The only thing I can think of is just the entire board of Nintendo are just like 150-year-old Japanese men who just like won't die, and it's like, what the hell?
They're just doing the same old tactics, whereas other people are doing new stuff. They're trying new things that Nintendo just would never do. Nintendo doesn't even do discounts. Like, are you freaking kidding me? They never discount things. And you're just like, Nintendo, why?
I won't say never, but not very often. Occasionally, but not very often.
You think Odyssey's ever going to get a discount?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's what. Those ones in particular, what I'm talking about. Like, that game's been out for too long. Discount it. Please discount it. Discount it $10. I dare you. I fucking dare you. Put a $10 discount on it.
I mean, if it was on Steam, that game on a Steam sale would be like maybe $20, if not less than that. Like, because it's 5 years. It's 5 years old. Like,
it's been long enough. Discount it. It's the same thing with like Smash Bros. And Breath of the Wild. I dare you to discount that. Even $5. I dare you. I freaking dare you. Anyway,
everyone owns it already, though. Why would they discount it?
Because not everyone owns it. That's the thing. It has been 5 years, right, since Breath of the Wild. Can we confirm that it's been like 5 years? Okay,
almost, just about.
There's some kid out there who just turned 13 years old and just discovered gaming, and somebody told them to get Breath of the Wild, and it's still $60. That is who you have to think about.
Yeah, that's true.
That is who you think about, is the person that didn't grow up with the game, but certainly, with this case, just like got to the point where they're like kind of want to invest in that, and it's still $60. That's the confusion. It's like, it's been out long enough. You get the people that are new, that are like just coming into the community, give them an incentive to buy in low, and then they'll want to get your next game. And that's what you want.
Yeah, sure. Then they'll buy Breath of the Wild 2 for $60.
That's what you want. But Nintendo doesn't do that. Nintendo's like, discount, fire that man. Fire him. Fire him. He said the D word. Dick? No, discount.
He said no, discount.
He said discount. Fire him. We don't take kindly to that.
And then there's the S word. Shit, no, sale. We don't do that.
What's a sale? Sale? Like the ship. Like the ship sale. Like the ship sale. That's what you mean. So, okay. Any other final thoughts before we talk about Guardians of the Galaxy?
I'm good on Nintendo for now.
Okay.
Oh, Pokemon Day is like Sunday or something like that.
That's right.
We're gonna get Pokemon announcements, and we'll talk about them next week.
I'm sure. What do you know? What time it's at? Actually, can we confirm time?
It was like in the afternoon GMT, which is the zero time. We're like 8 or 9 hours behind. It's gonna be in the morning. It's gonna be like 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or maybe 6 a.m. Like I'll watch it when I get up.
Yeah,
like,
that's what's gonna happen.
I'll watch the YouTube video when I get up.
Exactly. Okay. Square Enix said Guardians of the Galaxy didn't perform as well as it initially had hoped. Well, I'm just gonna cut this off immediately. That requires you to market it. Okay, market it. Okay, so go Google that. You have to market a game for people to be interested in the game, for people want to buy the game. You had one E3 spot. No, not E3. Was it E3? You had one spot.
Well, they spent half their E3 conference on that game. It was like 20 minutes. It was really long.
And the thing is, like, we know that the game had won like awards in various different awards shows, not just game awards. Like the game obviously did something right in its narrative.
It was a good game. Like,
it did something right. And Square Enix just like didn't push that hard enough. Instead, they're busy like trying to figure out what to do with Marvel's Avengers still. And now they're in Final Fantasy mode. I'm pretty sure Square's just in Final Fantasy mode now. They're like a turtle. Square's like a turtle. They came out of their shell. They're like, okay, we'll try some Marvel stuff. People were like, nah, we're good. And then they turned.
You're forgetting Babylon's Fall, which comes out next week.
Anyway,
another live service game from Platinum.
Yeah, from Platinum. From Platinum.
I feel so bad. That game is gonna flop so hard. Oh my god.
You know what? You never know. But yeah. Anyway, Square turtled. They're like, okay, we gotta go back to our roots. Where's Final Fantasy? Quick, Final Fantasy stuff. Somebody.
Yeah, it's like they got like scared after. I feel like they got scared after Marvel's Avengers. They like spent too much money on that game and lost. So they did a ton of marketing for that game, and they lost a ton of money on that game because it was bad.
Bad.
I won't say it was bad, but it was like a very mediocre game.
Yeah,
like it had issues.
Yep.
And then they had the E3 spot for Guardians of the Galaxy, and then there was some online advertising, like there were Twitch ads, and I saw banners for it on some sites around the time it was coming out, but that's about it.
That's it.
So
I think here's what happened. Here's what I'm guessing happened. I don't know who the CEO of Square Enix is. I really don't. But they walked into the office one day, and they looked at the numbers for Marvel's Avengers, and they saw a lot of red. And like, oh shit, well, what about Guardians of the Galaxy? How much are we spending on that? And they had an initial budget for it, for the marketing side, for the actual publishing marketing side. And he's like, well, we have to slash that. Marvel's Avengers lost us hundreds of millions of dollars. We gotta slash this. So they had to slash a bunch of numbers, and it just so happens one of the numbers they slashed was the marketing budget. This game probably lost like half its marketing budget, specifically because Marvel's Avengers was so poorly received and did not sell well. That's what I'm guessing happened. Is this game probably had twice as much marketing push because they wanted to push it right after Marvel's Avengers, and then Marvel's Avengers kind of, I'm just going to say it bombed.
It flopped.
Yeah, it flopped. And
well, I feel like Avengers sold well, but they didn't get the retention for the live service and the extra stuff after it.
And that's where the money was lost. Where the money was lost. And so Guardians of the Galaxy, they're like, we got high hopes for this game, sir. Yeah, but this other one failed, so slash it, get it out. We can't. Our numbers aren't looking good. Cut it. We gotta cut things. And I think this is a victim of Marvel's Avengers not performing well post-release. This is a victim of that, and it's unfortunate because the game seems like it's good. Like I'm at some point, I would love to play it. It seems like the narrative is quite good.
I have it. I haven't played it yet though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the article I remember saying that they basically attributed part of the loss at least to people just not liking Marvel's Avengers, so they didn't want to do another Marvel game from Square Enix, even though this one was completely different. But you have to respect that sort of hesitancy and saying, okay, well, Square, you tried a Marvel game, like, oh, is this going to be like Marvel's Avengers? I don't want to do that, even though it's not that at all. But that's what people are going to think when they see they get their first eyeballs on it. If you didn't see that E3 video, you're going to see a Guardians of the Galaxy ad, and you're going to be like, oh, great, is this going to be another Marvel's Avengers? Gross. So I think that's, again, I think it's just a victim of Marvel's Avengers, and it's really unfortunate. Yeah, it is unfortunate, and I feel bad especially for Eidos Montreal, who's the developer of this game, who seemed like they put a lot of work and effort, poured their heart and soul into it, made a pretty darn good game, and they just kind of got hosed on the end because of things that were completely out of your control, to be honest. So
yeah, I just feel bad. Like, I think, sorry, it was Eidos Montreal. Yeah,
Eidos Montreal.
Eidos Montreal. Yeah. Developer. No, thank you. I feel bad for them because it seems like they did a great job, and it seems like they really focused in on the narrative side and on the characters. Even though I didn't like the banter as much, I think it was too much. That doesn't mean that it's like the rest of the game wasn't made well, or like it wasn't made well for other people. So I feel bad for them.
But unfortunately, when I saw this article, I was not surprised in the least. I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of what I expected.
Yeah, I expected that too. I'm with you 100%. This is what we expected. I think we feel bad. I think we both agree we feel bad, but this is what we expected. Here's what I'm scared of. I'm scared Square's gonna go, well, shit, now we got to do a mobile game. We got to get money back. We got to do mobile. We gotta get some mobile trash from the IP. We gotta do that. So okay.
Directors and dev team.
Whoops. Okay. Street Fighter 6 got announced. So after I didn't even realize 6 years. 6 years from Street Fighter 5. We have Street Fighter 6. They did a teaser for this. They also have a really poor logo that kind of got made fun of by a lot of people. It also looked like the logo was quite similar. I showed you this to a logo from what was the company? It was a company in like what? Oh, I don't remember.
I think it was Taiwanese. But
Taiwanese, yeah. It looks like a Taiwanese company's logo or like a news channel's logo. Yeah. I'm not really a Street Fighter person. I played a little bit of Street Fighter. But it has been a while since a new Street Fighter's come out that I know. I would say that, like, for the people that do like Street Fighter, I would say it's probably good. The thing is, I don't know.
Yeah, enough. I know I heard. I don't exactly know what the problem was. I know there were some issues with Street Fighter 5. I want to say they simplified it a little bit, but from what I remember, people generally liked the gameplay of Street Fighter 5, but I think the online was shit. Like, I think the online was just garbage. Like, their netcode was horrible. Okay. And, like, it just wasn't fun to play online, basically. Okay. And that's mostly how you play fighting games these days. You play them online. So, like, if you want to get the most out of the fighting game, yeah, you maybe play the single-player content, get through that, but then, like, if you're a fighting game player, you just play online. Like, you either do practice mode when you're labbing and you're just practicing, or you're playing online.
Right.
Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Can I comment? Why does Ryu look like a freaking tank now?
Yeah,
Are you looking at this guy?
Yeah, no, I saw that. I was like, man, he's like he was always buff, but like Jesus, okay, calm down, buddy. Like,
It's like
guy was ODing on roids. Like,
somebody at Capcom's like, yeah, make him comically beefy. Okay, I think I can do that. They're like, here, just make him look crazy strong.
just imagine Chun-Li's thighs.
Oh my
like
god,
this.
I'm already picturing it. The high point of Street Fighter for me was the Chun-Li. Oh boy, those thighs, the mega thighs. I don't know, like if they fix the netcode, like you're saying, if that was a problem, I mean, they just have to fix that, right? Like, there you go, fix that, and all's well, right?
I don't know. These Japanese companies can be really stubborn, like with their, I'm not super versed in fighting games, but from all I've heard, I know we've briefly discussed it before. There's this thing that some guys developed a while ago called rollback netcode, and this is the best way to netcode fighting games. And some of these Japanese companies just refuse to implement it. They are they're just too prideful, and they think they can do it better, and they can't, and their netcode is shit. And it's just like, okay.
Would they have to pay like a royalty for the rollback?
I don't know. I
I
don't know the answer to that. Like, maybe it's a royalty. Maybe it's just pride. It's like, no, we can figure out a way to do it. We can do it better than these like Americans or whoever. I think they were Americans. I'm not 100% sure. Like,
usually it's that or money. Like, the reason why EA and Bethesda and all them didn't use Unreal Engine is because money. They don't want to pay Unreal Engine to use it.
Yeah, they don't want to pay Epic. They don't want to pay Epic to use
But
Unreal.
it costs money for you to make your own engine.
Yeah, and your engine is bad.
It's just
so
like, it costs you money to make it. It's like, maybe the royalty's worth it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a Street Fighter person as far as the games are concerned. I think anytime there's a new game, you want to be excited. But if the netcode is the problem, and with fighting games, that's kind of all of it for online. So you got to fix that.
It's pretty much the entire game.
Yeah,
is in fighting games in modern day, the whole game. If your online is bad, your game is bad.
It's like
that's
like having lag in a precision platformer.
Yeah,
I'd probably just turn it off and throw the controller and go, "Why am I doing this?"
Yeah,
that's yeah. But anyway, I don't know. It said coming this summer. More info coming this summer. Sorry, more info coming this summer. There you go. So
yeah, okay. So probably E3 time.
Yeah.
Though I think I've heard maybe that E3 might not even happen this year, like as an official event. But I'm gonna assume that companies, even if E3 isn't really a thing, they'll just do their own little do their own little press conferences or online things around that sometime in there, like in June, basically. So yeah.
I mean, they should. They're the online. These online events they're great for them. They're low cost by comparison, and they get to control how much time they can take. They get to control pretty much everything. So
I doubt in-person E3 will ever come back at this point. Like,
I agree. I have a hard time believing that. Any other Street Fighter thoughts?
Nope. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big fight. I play a few fighting games here and there, but I'm not a big fighting game guy, especially not Street Fighter. If I play a fighting game, it's going to be something else. Usually, I'm not really big on Street Fighter. But
okay, let's move on then. Bethesda's retiring its PC launcher and will migrate its library to Steam. Finally.
Thank goodness.
Finally. Phil Spencer walked into Bethesda after the purchase and said, "We need to talk about your launcher." And somebody said, "What do you want to talk about?" And he just says, "It sucks."
It's garbage.
It sucks. And I agree, it sucks. It's terrible.
Get rid of it.
This launcher is so bad. I can't stress enough how bad it was. It had problems. It would like give away your personal information. It had problems with that. It's stupid. I just don't understand why, companies like this just keep trying to push their own stupid freaking launchers. I understand why, because it's money, but it's a pain in the ass. I'm so glad Microsoft walked into the office, just put the big boy pants on and said, "No, just move everything to Steam. We're done with this. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money. Just do something
nobody
different."
likes this.
They probably that's the thing. Like, I'm sure like somebody at Microsoft actually looked at the numbers on it and they're like, this thing doesn't actually do anything. This doesn't make enough money to justify it. Like, what the frick? Get it out. Oh God, everybody was so everybody should be excited by this. It means any future Bethesda games getting off this launcher, go get on something else like Steam. They're obviously going to be on the Xbox app.
I mean,
thank freaking Christ.
Their games were always on Steam though, but then you had to like go you would launch it on Steam and you would like get the Bethesda launcher after that or something like that. Yeah.
There was a game or two I remember on Bethesda that was Bethesda launcher only. And I hated it. It was like but good. This is a moment to rejoice.
Now if only we could get Ubisoft to ditch Uplay.
They're never doing that. They never will. Ubisoft is incredibly stubborn with certain things. Uplay, NFTs, their Quartz app, super stubborn about Quartz. They're convinced it's going to work out. I hope somebody like Microsoft buys them and immediately walks into Ubisoft's office and goes, "Hey, remember Quartz? Yeah, we love Quartz." No, you don't.
Scrap.
We're gone. We're done.
It's done. Nobody likes it.
No, we're done. It's immediately done. I just.
But you just don't get it. You guys just don't get it. You plebs, you just don't get it.
That's probably what he said, to somebody. He's like, Bethesda's like, no, the launcher's been great. He's like, no, you're a pleb, you don't get it. We're done. We're immediately done. And that was it. So I thank goodness.
That's always the response when like a company has an idea and the community hates it. There's like, you just don't get it. Like, you'll see when it comes out. You'll see. You don't get it. Like that entire interview that we went through like a couple weeks ago with the Quartz guy. All he said was like, "Yeah, you just don't get it yet. Like, you'll understand when it comes." It's like, no, we get it. We get that this sucks, and you're just trying to milk money out of us. Like, stop.
Yeah, we could summarize that article pretty easily. He's like, look, you don't get it, but you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It's totally great for you. It's
good
amazing
for us, and it's good. It's good for us, but it's better for you. Believe me, it's better for you.
And he just says believe it, and then he just says believe it and puts a headband on. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's great for us. I'm sure it is. That's why you're saying that. So, oh wow. So this is pretty quick, by the way. In April, you'll be able to migrate, and in May, you can't access the launcher anymore.
It's dead. It's dead completely. Yeah, that's only a couple of months.
That's pretty fast. Nice. That's really fast.
I mean, they've probably been. Let's be honest. They've probably been working on this a while. Like the Bethesda acquisition was like over a year ago at this point. So
no, they said, okay, get ready. We're migrating this crap. You've got a year to make it happen. What? Yeah, you got a year. Do it. Hurry up.
Get that crap out of here.
Get this garbage out. We're done with it. But yeah, I am super glad this is happening. I wish it would happen for more companies, but it's not going to happen unless somebody like comes in, buys you, and then says, "Okay, you're doing things our way."
The TBH with Microsoft, the Xbox app is kind of crap too. But
it's not great, but it's just the fact that it's like we don't have to go through your launcher. Even when it's on Steam, like with Uplay, the thing that always bothered me is you have to go through Uplay even if you get it on Steam. That's the problem.
Yeah. Like if you launch the game on Steam, it'll just open up Uplay and be like,
right.
"Hey, you gotta use Uplay."
Uplay Connect, and you're like, "Oh God, no." That's the frustrating part. And the same thing with 2K now. Like 2K games are doing that. I'm sure Rockstar has its launcher.
Most companies have their own launcher.
EA's dumb freaking launcher that I absolutely hate.
Origin.
Oh no, the EA app. There's a new one. It's in beta. It's in beta. No, the Origin's going away. They're doing the EA app. What's the difference? You say there is no difference.
Nothing. There's
no difference.
The name. It's still shit.
It still sucks. I think they just don't want Origin to exist because Origin has this like Origin has a reputation. So like, well, but if we call it a different app, then people will like it. I just like, no, it had a bad reputation because it wasn't optimal compared to other things. Anyway, any other stuff regarding Bethesda retiring its launch?
Nope.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready for what?
Elden Ring reviews came in.
Yeah.
For those of you watching and are a fan of the FromSoft series of Dark Souls games, please try and contain yourself right now.
Well, you're probably not watching. You're probably playing the game right now.
You're probably playing the game because it's
out on.
launched.
It came out on Steam an hour and a half ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So you're there. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna be watching anything. So, well, this game got a Metacritic of 98 and an OpenCritic of 96. And I'm gonna check the OpenCritic again just to be sure. So it is at 96 still. So a 96 from OpenCritic, and I'm gonna double check Metacritic right now. Want to see if okay, it changed to 97 for Metacritic. I'm sure that broke somebody's heart. But this game is just getting 9s and 10s, more 10s than 9s. In fact,
had like when I looked, it had like 3 8s and 8.5, and everything else was a 9 or above.
Yeah, which is absolutely crazy. I told Spoon this though. I wasn't surprised that it was over 90, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I was surprised it was over 95 either. I mean, like, it's crazy that a game would be over 95, but I just wasn't surprised because I'm like, man, they've been talking this thing up. Everybody's been waiting for it.
It's been most anticipated game of the year 2 years running.
I couldn't imagine, even if the game did have like, even just like a good quality but wasn't perfect. I can't imagine like, I can't imagine a reviewer not being like, well, it's close to a 9 out of 10, so I'm just gonna say it's a 10 because it's so amazing. I don't know, like, this game probably does for some people get a +1, and maybe it is amazing. I'm sure it is wonderful and this like perfect open world Dark Souls experience. But I can imagine that some reviewers gave this the old +1 because like, it's amazing, you know. I can't see a ton of problems with it. Maybe it doesn't have the excellent quality in a few places, but it's good. It's great. So let's just do that. Let's just give it the 10 because it's, you know, it's everything we've wanted and we've been waiting for this. And it's like you get all that anticipation built up and you're like, oh God, I've been waiting so long and it's everything I hoped for. So 10.
Yeah. I think Ghost was actually telling me this. FromSoft, I think, was it 85? He was saying that not a single FromSoft game has a meta score under, it was either 85 or 90. I don't remember. It might have been 90 actually. Like all of their games are like 90 or above on meta score, or pretty darn close.
I think one of the Dark Souls is under 90, but it's like 88. It's so close it just doesn't matter. It's something like that. Yeah, no, those games have unreal. Sorry, I have to restart the music. Unreal like reviews, and like I mean, like, one could argue they deserve that. That's for sure. They deserve that. The games, like, they're unique. Like Dark Souls games, they're unique. They are, to some people, the challenge is a quality that adds to it. And like even the older Dark Souls games, like there was a lot of like skill required in certain areas. Like there are the lore people who are like, no, the lore is amazing. I couldn't tell you any of it. Even just looking at people play it, I'm like, to me, I'm like, is there a story? Like, what is it? But there are people out there that know that they're like, oh no, the lore is great, it's amazing, and I just like, I don't freaking know. I mean, like, yeah, I think that they're. I mean, like, I think they do deserve credit for like making this type of series like really become a mainstream idea that now people are just copying completely, almost completely copying. They're like, okay, we're gonna make our own Dark Souls game, maybe with a couple tweaks, but really, like, there are a lot of games that just took this identity of Dark Souls and just ran with it as something else too. There's some credit there too. So yep. I do think it deserves a lot of its praise, even no matter how frustrating it can be.
Like, it's not officially a genre, but you could almost call Souls like a genre. Like, that is
on its own. You could really, like, it you really could.
It's a subgenre of like action games or action RPGs, I guess. But like,
yeah. But it's almost its own thing.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge credit to creativity and excellent development and all that stuff. So its own community is built around it, whether it's a good community or maybe there's a subset of bad community there. Of course that's going to happen.
Sure,
but...
I'm sure there's a subset of the community there's definitely a subset of community that's like, if you don't like Dark Souls, you're a pleb or you're just bad at games.
You're just bad at games, right?
Like,
you're just bad. And he's like, okay, well, okay.
Yeah, there's a subset that you're just bad, or they're like, or just get good scrub.
Yeah. Oh
like,
god.
Okay.
That subset. But anyway, yeah. I mean, at some point, I was gonna try and play Dark Souls again, but man, that game frustrated the crap out of me because it's just like, there are a piece of it I just don't like that much.
I don't think the first, like, from what I've heard, at least the first one is not the first game has a lot of bullshit, basically, where like they'll just knock you off of cliffs, or you just die in a lot of stupid ways in the first one. It seems like the newer games, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring, there's a lot less of that and a lot more of just like, just good gameplay. Learn the patterns, play well. There's a lot of death and frustration because it's difficult, but not a lot of cheap bullshit like in Dark Souls 1. Like,
no, I mean, it's like I said, like, I agree.
If you went to play Dark Souls again, probably just skip the first game.
I do want to try it again,
or go back to it later after you've gotten the hang of like the later games, which are a little easier. From what I've heard. I'm honestly, with these reviews and what Elden Ring is looking like, I played Bloodborne a little bit and I played Sekiro a little bit, but I didn't finish either of them. I haven't played any of the Dark Souls games. I am legitimately interested in Elden Ring. Like, I might pick it up at some point. I'm not gonna get it right now,
right?
Because I'm busy and there's other stuff I'm looking forward to, like Triangle Strat. I wouldn't finish Elden Ring in a week, and I want to play Triangle Strategy when that comes out next week. So,
but you're interested.
I'm interested in Elden Ring. It looks good. It looks very good to me. Will it be a 10 in my book? Unlikely, but it looks really good.
Yeah, no. At some point, I will go back to Dark Souls. It's just a matter of like, okay, the stars are going to align at some point, maybe in the summer. I have like thought about trying it again legitimately. There are just parts of the game I just do not like how. I know that part of the game is, in Dark Souls 1 in particular, like, you're supposed to feel a little bit clunky. That's like part of the style of it and part of how you have to like deal with it. But I never liked how clunky you are. I just never liked it. I'm like, it just feels like the mechanics are so clunky.
Yeah, it's definitely like slow paced. Yeah, attack, or slow. The roll is kind of slow. Like
you have to, and part of the game is you have to deal with that. And I do understand. I do completely understand that, like, that is the mechanics of the game. But man, it's insanely frustrating that is the mechanic of the game, because I'm used to games being more free flowing. So when you get that, you're just like, oh god, this is so god.
I played Sekiro a little bit, and Sekiro is much more fast-paced.
That's what I've seen. Yeah,
so
it definitely is.
Again, if that's a problem with you in Dark Souls, maybe try Sekiro. It's different, but
it definitely is.
It's definitely more fast-paced than Dark Souls is.
Yeah, like I said, I will go back. I think Dark Souls was enjoyable for me until that Anor Londo section.
Anor Londo,
yeah, that part.
The rooftop section with the archers and the narrow pathways.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's going to be the people like, oh, yeah, that part, you just parry. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, like, why is that in the game? Why is that here?
Again, from what I've heard, there's a lot less of like that type of level design in the game. I know. Yeah, you got knocked off a cliff, you're dead.
Yeah, I didn't even mind, like, Sen's Fortress was so annoying. Sen's Fortress, yeah, that part was annoying, but like I could put up with it. But you're just like, oh god, like, do we need more of this in Anor Londo? And that tipped me over the edge. I just couldn't handle it. I was like, okay, this is really annoying. I think I just don't want to do this right now when I can do anything else. But yeah, I do want to go back to it at some point. So, anyway. Okay.
I would be really. I mean, I guess Breath of the Wild 2 might come out this year, but this game is seeming like almost a shoe-in for Game of the Year.
No, this
at
is Game of the
point.
Year. It already is.
Unless Breath of the Wild 2 comes out this year and is better than Breath of the Wild 1, it's gonna be Elden Ring.
No, it's
like
Elden Ring's the Game of the Year. There's literally no competition at this point.
Yep.
Not even Horizon Forbidden West. That's not competition. There's no chance.
it's not there.
If this didn't win Game of the Year,
that would be an upset.
Yep, that would be uprising. A gaming uprising would occur. That is all I'm going to say there. But and any other Elden Ring thoughts, Spoon? I don't want to move on before you said your piece.
No, yeah. Again, I haven't played it yet, but it looks good. I'm interested in it, but won't play it. Won't play it right now. That's for sure.
Okay. The last thing we had here is just that TwitchCon. It was announced before actually that they're coming back to in-person events. It was announced fall, I want to say, and then they've actually announced dates and where it's going to be in San Diego. So it's going to be in the San Diego Convention Center. The dates are the 7th to the 9th in October, and they haven't actually allowed for purchasing tickets. I think that's supposed to be in the summer, but TwitchCon did not happen last year. It didn't happen in 2020 either. So it's been 2 years, over 2 years, right? Because it didn't happen in 2020, obviously.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in 2021, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's been about 2.5 years. I like going to TwitchCon actually. We've gone together. I think we did go together once.
We went once. Yeah.
I like going. I won't say it's like necessarily for someone like me specifically. I think it's more for people who are trying to network, or if you're bigger, trying to find a sponsorship opportunity.
I didn't find there to be a lot to do like at the show itself. Like it was fun to just like hang out, but like, and if you're going to meet friends and stuff who you met on Twitch, or maybe a content creator that you're in a big community of, and like met people you make, I think it's good for that. But like, if you don't know anybody that's going, I don't think it's really a good event, to be honest.
It's not as great. That's what I'll say. But I like going personally. I enjoy going. I think it's like there's some cool stuff to see. I always like seeing all the various things, and there are panels that, you know, people they maybe want to stay at and maybe learn something. They had one year where there was like an artist section, which was fantastic. I hope they bring that back again.
I feel like they usually have that. And that's
kind
of a staple.
Yeah, I don't remember because yeah. But anyway, I like that part of it. That was cool. Just like going around finding all the artist creators and like checking out all their stuff. That was cool. That was a cool part of it. Being able to support that was cool. Was great. So that is in the fall. If anybody wanted to go to that, this is like the big live streaming event. So for people like going to conventions, and it's in San Diego, which is nice. That's another good excuse to take a trip. San Diego is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we switch gears?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're good.